Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, mates, scholars. We are out doing some exploration, and what we're going to be looking at today is a zone which is intensely mineralized. You can see all along here, this is the first section here. We're going to be taking a bunch of samples. There is a bunch of stringer sulfide veins all along here, and we'll be removing a bunch of samples. Around the corner we got more mineralization, again stringer sulfide zone. So you can see the burgundy oxidized patches. You have small little pods of iron sulfides. Primarily what we're going to see today is pyrite with the occasional bit of chalcopyrite. So you can see massive sulfides exposed in small areas. So we'll be sampling all this. We'll walk along this entire area, show you guys all of the showings we found, any veins, any areas of mineralization. We'll pull off our samples after. First exposure is right over here, disseminated mineral. We're not going to sample that one. You got another one here, another one here, another one right there, more along in here, little stringers running with schists, couple little blebs there, more there. Got the nice decent sized sulfide exposure, massive sulfides there, runs back up into the overburden. And then all along here you have small little blebs and stringers. So there's quite a few pieces just laying all over the place. So what we'll do is we'll grab some grab samples as well. You have a mineralized zone right here. A little bit of quartz in there. So, and then there's a little bit of a break. We'll see you down at the next spot. There's a 60-meter gap in between the zone back there and this one. You can see more disseminated mineral in there. All along here you got a nice sulfide showing right there. You got more sulfides exposed there. You got a noisy helicopter behind me. So you can see decently mineralized. More here. More sulfides here. More up there. And that is pretty much the end of this zone. I shouldn't say this zone because this is actually all just one zone, but it's exposed in two portions of the road. So about right there is where this one starts. You're looking at 25 meters of mineralized exposed area, and then around the corner another 50 meters you have another 40-meter exposure of sulfide stringers, pods, disseminated mineral, you name it. So let's dive into sampling, and then we'll take a look at those samples that we pull off. Yeah, so that's just a solid massive chalcopyrite and pyrite. You can see coarse grained. So when you're sampling, what you want to do is you want to take a sample across your entire span of your vein. You just take small little samples like that. You don't get the true value of what's in the vein. So what we're going to do is pull the sample from here all the way up across here. So we'll grab the sample in a bunch of different areas. And you don't necessarily want to get the best looking stuff, because the best looking stuff isn't always the highest for value. We'll finish off this sample, move on. Whew, that's a nice one. This looks like it's got a little pyrrhotite in it. There we go. So you got a nice little pod here. Looks like we could pull off a decent sample fairly easy. One really good thing about these hammers, this is actually a bricklayer's hammer. We prefer these over the geological ones, especially when you're in an area working with schists, argillite, shale, because the back end definitely helps when you're trying to peel it off. See what I mean? So look at that, massive sulfides for sure. Looks like pyrite, a little bit of pyrrhotite. Looks like we got a nice vein extending pretty far back here. Whew, that's a nice sample there. All right. I think we got enough sample for this area, for sure. So we picked up about 7-8 grab samples off the road in between the last spot and here. We've sampled a couple other areas too. We won't show all of the sampling. So you can see here another bunch of sulfides. Picked up some nice samples with quartz and chalcopyrite. a nice piece right there. So it looks like you got a sulfide vein here. Primarily looks like really oxidized pyrite. About 8 centimeters wide, 10 centimeters. Disseminated mineral all throughout your host rock. Oh, that one went flying. There's hordes of grab samples around here. Ooh, nice ones. Looks like there's a bit of quartz in here too. And look at this. Quartz vein right in there, running along there. So we'll pull a sample from there. Looks like there's a bit of mineralization. Then we'll look at the samples. So your host rock is volcanic tuff. You have some quartzite in there. Quartz schists running with your volcanic tuff. You can see how flaky it was when I was peeling it off. That's your schist area. Again, you have more schists here with volcanic tuff again. And basically this whole area is like that. So let's go take a look at the samples now. So we have all the samples lined up here. There are 19 samples that we pulled. We'll take a look at all of them up close. We got the first sample here. So you can see almost a solid mass of sulfides. You have a tiny bit of schists in there. Sample number 2. You have chalcopyrite and pyrite with a little bit of magnetite in there. You can see the blackish color, that's magnetite. Your silvery looking metal is your iron pyrite. And you have a little bit of chalcopyrite. Like that stuff down there. So again, solid masses here. So we got some good looking samples today. That is sample number 2. Sample number 3 here. You got a chloritic schist with masses of solid pyrite. As you can see, disseminated mineral with chloritic schist, primarily pyrite. Then here you got this oxidized patch here, which contains pyrite, chalcopyrite. Just a solid mass of it. Looks like you got a little bit of epidote in there too. Not much, but a little bit. Again, your rusty patches, your sulfides. So you can see the disseminated mineral in here, how it's not as oxidized, if any. So chalcopyrite is a stable mineral. Iron pyrite will turn to an oxidized rusty patch like this. So it looks like this was some quartz here. You got a bit of buggy quartz. Next sample here. Again, you can see the oxidization from your pyrite, whereas your chalcopyrite has none. So again, almost solid mass of mineral. That's sample number 5. Sample number 6 here was from a sulfide vein. Coarse grained. So a lot of nice samples here. That's sample number 6. Sample number 7 here was a road grab sample. And you can see a solid mass of mineral. This is pyrite, coarse and fine grained. Chip sample from a small quartz vein. You have very fine grained iron pyrite with a little bit of magnetite. You can see the yellowish sulfide staining for sure. Number 9 here, disseminated pyrite, pretty obviously pyrite, and this is in a volcanic tuff. So this is your host rock here. It looks like you got a little bit of chalcopyrite in there, but not a lot. Right here you got some chalcopyrite. And along there. Sample number 9 there. Very nice looking sample. Here we got sample number 11. This is a road grab sample. Both these. I actually want to hammer this open a bit and see how it looks. It's a little bit oxidized. This looks like it's pyrite and chalcopyrite with a little bit of pyrrhotite. So let's just hammer this one open right now. Would you look at that? Chalcopyrite in there. But you also have galena. Looks like some sphalerite too. Interesting sample. Pretty cool looking. Yeah, I think there's a little bornite in there too. This looks like a massive sulfide sample. Just a mix of mineral. Sample number 12 here. From a quartz vein. Chalcopyrite in there with pyrite. Again, you can see the oxidization of your chalcopyrite, a little bit iridescent there. And this is your iron pyrite right beside it. Another decent sample. A couple more here from a quartz vein. You can see there's a bit of malachite staining on here, indicating your presence of copper. Some of these are absolutely beautiful. Very, very nice. So the whole goal here is to take these preliminary samples. We're not going to send any in right now for a test, but we will eventually. And when we do, we'll make a video on it. We're collecting about 200-300 samples from this property, various areas. Chalcopyrite right there, pyrite over here. Sample number 15. Nothing special. Another chip sample. Number 16 is an interesting one. You have quartz with magnetite and hematite. So these are big honkers. These are heavy. Next sample here was a road grab sample. You can see mineral in quartz. You have pyrite and chalcopyrite in there. You can see the obvious difference. The off yellowy color is your chalcopyrite. The one right beside, which is more of a silvery color, is your pyrite. So we picked up some decent samples today, for sure. When we do send these in for a test, what we're going to be looking for is gold, silver, copper, lead, and zinc. Massive sulfide mixture, which is primarily what you find on this property, with the occasional minor amounts of other elements. So we looked at this one under a jeweler's loupe and couldn't tell for sure, but this one looks like it's got some silver as a native element. But again, it's so hard to tell with the mixture of iron pyrite. And the last sample we picked up today. You got a chlorotic schist with quartz, quartzite, and more sulfides. Possibly a bit of magnetite in there, and epidotization. So that is the last sample, and that is going to end the sampling this morning for this property. We sampled 19 different samples over a whole distance of about 100 meters. So decent potential here for sure. Decent sulfides exposed. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And we're actually going to post an assay result for one of them. I've decided at the end of this video we're going to send a preliminary. So I'll mark it in the video which one's the sample, and stay tuned for that assay result next. Take care, everyone.